Help support the companies that support our community. To start out with, I'm going to use a piece of maple burl. So this is about 6 inches long and then 2 by 2. And I got this piece from Worldwide Burls. I'll put a link down below in the description to his Instagram and YouTube channel. It is a beautiful piece of burl. I'm going to go ahead and get it in the chuck and get it trued up with a spindle gouge. So I'm going to make a Genie bottle, and this is going to be the base of it. So I'm just shaping it, and we actually found, Robin and I were looking around for project ideas, and we found a picture on, I believe it was Pinterest for this. And so I printed it off. I have it sitting next to the lathe here. So I'm just trying to copy it. It was just a great design, and I'm going to try and get it as close as I can to the picture. And it has a little foot on it too, and later on I'll before I part it off, I'll work on the foot. So there's a little bead on it coming up the neck, and then there's towards the top. So I just started out with the spindle gouge to make the bead, and you'll see here in a second I had a little catch, so I had to switch gears a little bit, and then I switched over and used the Easy Wood beading tool to make the bead. But yeah, I should have probably switched to the smaller spindle gouge, but it all worked out, or it all worked out in the end. Yeah, I just used the Easy Wood, I believe it's the 1/8 inch beading tool, and then made a little bead with that, and then went back to the spindle gouge to bring the material down right up to it. And through the whole process here, even when I first put it on the lathe, the whole lathe speed is about 2,500 RPMs. So you can kind of see the swoop that's coming down into the bead from the headstock. So what I'm trying to do is match that curve going into the neck coming up the top. So just kind of go slow, you know, I'm taking my time and making sure that actually matches. So when I'm looking at it on the lathe, I'm looking at that curve to make sure when it goes into the bead, it comes out on the other side and is even. So you can kind of see right here, when I'm coming up against it with the spindle gouge, it's not right. So I switch back over to the other side and take a little bit off until it matches. And then this wood is so beautiful, I'm going to use the top part here for something else, and then the part that's actually in the chuck, I'll use that for something too. But I just parted it off so I could save all that wood and maybe make some pendants or something out of it. And then the top here, I made it just a little bit tall so I could slowly bring it down to match. After I got it brought down, I went ahead and used a 7/16 drill bit, and I went ahead and drilled all the way to the bottom. This is, it's not going to be used for really anything, holding anything, but I just was trying to reduce the weight a little bit. So I went ahead and drilled all the way down to the bottom of it with this, and then cleaned it up a little bit with the #1 hollower here in a second. When you are drilling out with a drill bit like this, or even a Forstner bit, make sure you go in and out. Just don't plunge the drill bit or Forstner bit into it. It will clog up, and sometimes it can even stick in there. So make sure you clean out the debris. And then with the #1 hollower,
just cleaning up the mouth of it here, and then because I can get that little tool right down in there, I went ahead and went down, all the way down into the bottom, just to clean it up and reduce the weight on it. And the base here, just kind of for reference, is only 3.5 inches tall. So it's a pretty small little piece. So this is the foot I was talking about earlier. So I'll just bring down the material with a parting tool and then create that little foot on the bottom. As far as sanding it, I ran through one of the grits dry just to kind of clean everything up and make sure it was all crisp, and then went ahead and switched over to the Doctor's walnut oil and went ahead and finished it off. So with the walnut oil, you've probably seen me sand with this many times. So I run through all the grits with this and sand all the way up to 600. And then once I'm done, I wipe it off in between each grit with paper towel. But I also turn the lathe speed. So when I'm sanding, it's running about 300 RPMs, maybe a little bit less. And then when I'm all done, I crank the lathe speed up to about 2500 again. And with the paper towel, just kind of heat it up to get it to dry. And I just parted it off, and we'll switch over and start doing the lid slash finial. So for this, I found another piece of that beautiful dark wood. So I went ahead and put it in between centers. I switched the jaws over to the pin jaws, and then same process here. Went ahead and used the spindle gouge to true it up, and then jumped over or switched back to the small spindle gouge to start shaping it. And the reason I keep touching the top of it with my finger is to see when the piece is actually true. So I just kind of run the tool over it and then tap it with the finger to see if it's true. So if there is a flat spot on it, you can definitely feel that. So from the picture I have, we kind of figured out that the finial on it is about 2 inches. So that's what that pencil line is. So where that pencil line is going to be the first little bead, and that is going to sit on the top of the base. And then I'll actually turn a little piece below that goes down inside of it. With this too, you'll see me every once in a while check the picture, so I'm just looking at that picture, trying to get it as close as possible to what we found. The picture, like I said, it was from Pinterest. It's an old piece, just from looking at the wood, so it was turned quite a while ago, but it was just a beautiful little Genie bottle. whenever you're doing something like this, when it's small and you're away from the headstock quite a ways, you put your finger under the tool rest to support it, and it will really cut down on the vibration. This one isn't a small finial, but it still really helps. So this part right here, that's going to be the part that actually just goes down in the bottle. It just kind of sits in there. So I'm just kind of making a little bit of a cone shape so it'll go sit nice down inside of it. And the same process with this. I just ran through one grit that was dry and then switched over and ran through the rest of them all the way up to 600 with the walnut oil. There we go, I got it all done. And again, the base is out of just a beautiful piece of maple burl. I will leave a link down below in the description to his Instagram and YouTube channel. He has some beautiful woods for sale. And the finial, I can't remember again what the name of the wood was. I will leave that down below in the description too. But we saw the picture on it, and it was an old picture. It had been turned years ago just from looking at the wood. But it was just a cool design, just great shape. Something like this could even be, they do make like small vials, glass vials you can put in it for a perfume bottle or something like that. But I haven't actually turned something, teeny like this in a long time, as far as, something like this other than a bottle stopper or something. But it was a fun project. And the overall height is 5.5 inches with the finial in it. So I don't know if it's considered a finial though. It might just be the lid, but it was a fun project. Hope you enjoyed it, and we will see you next week. Have a great weekend. Take care.